Hey guys, King of Charmers here. Today I will be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring you an explanation on Moba rules, or multiplayer online battle arenas. If you play games like Dota 2, League of Legends, Hero of the Storm, or more popularly known as the game you see here, Arena of Valor, which is another game that Tencent Studios or Teamy created that is very similar to Pokemon Unite. Arena of Valor is a lot more complicated, but if you played any of the games I mentioned before, you probably know words like tank, jungle, or ADC, and support. Those are advanced roles that you will probably hear as you play Pokemon Unite throughout your entire tenure playing the game. Because MOBAs have been out for so long, those terms are a lot more popularly used to classify roles than the ones that Pokemon Unite actually give you. So, without further ado, let's give you the video on the most common terms for roles. I'll explain each and every role as well as give you gameplay examples to show you just how each role operates and how they are played, so that you can be one of the MVPs in one of your lobbies or the MVP of your lobby instead of looking like this. I hope you guys enjoyed that clip. That's from an anime called KonoSuba. Long story short, boy passes away, wakes up, gets reincarnated, goes on a journey, and has a lot of fun with his new companions. That clip is from Darkness, so that's who you don't want to look like. Darkness misses all of her attacks no matter what she does. That's why she has a very hilarious backstory in the anime. As you see there, you don't want to end up being like Darkness, where you don't know what you're doing, or you attempt something and then you just end up missing something, costing an entire play for your opponent and possibly costing you the match. Now, traditional MOBA verbiage is very different from Pokemon Unite. Pokemon Unite is kind of confusing. If you've played MOBAs for years like I have, this doesn't really make much sense. However, the thing is about Pokemon Unite actually classifies things very differently. They do attacker, speedster, all-arounder, defender, and supporter. So I'll go down the general verbiage for the glossary in this one, and then I'll go into specific roles. So attackers basically are like ADCs. ADCs are attack damage control. They have, as you see on the website, they have low endurance and excel at dealing heavy range damage to opponents. As you see, as of right now from the beta, there is a bunch of ADCs. Some of them have much better range than others, and some of them do have a lot better utility like CC or crowd control, and crowd control is basically stuns and the ability to basically pivot out and have different speeds, so escapes, etc., or like I said, stuns. So there's a lot of different ADCs in Pokemon Unite as of right now. Speedster is kind of like your jungle, to be honest with you. Jungles are fast, they deal a lot of heavy damage. Jungles are also in the all-around tab as well, as you see things like Talonflame, Absol, and Gengar. They excel at making quick damage, have high mobility, and are good at scoring points. Now the thing about it is that they're somewhat squishy. Gengar, Talonflame, and Absol don't have high defense, so they're basically junglers in MOBAs. Junglers basically go into the jungle, kill a bunch of mobs, gain a high levels, and gain levels faster than your opponents so that you have an advantage, and they do something called gank, which is basically ambushing. For those of you that are watching this video and played MOBAs before, ganking is an essential tool as a jungler because you are able to control the map for your team, which is a very essential skill as a jungler or well, yeah, pretty much as a jungler. As you see here, Talonflame, Absol, Gengar. All-arounders are comprised of Lucario, Machamp, Garchomp, and Charizard. All-arounders are essentially junglers as well. They have balanced defense endurance and are highly tenacious fighters. Now, the difference between this is, other than Char's, like, all of these have very low ranges. So, essentially, speeders and all-arounders are basically jungles. So, there are a lot of options on as far as the attack, as far as ADCs, as far as carries go, and as far as junglers go. There's a wide pull of them. The reason why these are junglers is because Garchomp is very squishy, doesn't have a lot of range, and very much specializes in ganking or ambushing opponents. So they're also very close range fighters, so these are going to be the ones that you hopefully have higher levels or ahead of everyone else so they can deal heavy damage. Defenders are tanks. If you know tanks and you know the word tank, it's basically what it says. Tanks are very, very durable. They have high endurance and excel at protecting allies and hindering opponents. Good tanks will be the ones to initialize the team fight, so they'll be the ones that put themselves in front and push opponents towards you or push opponents away from you accordingly so that you are able to engage in the most effective team fights on the map. Tanks are essential for any team because they are able to protect your goals. So they're able to protect your goals during team fights, and if you happen to lose a team fight, and hopefully your tank is still alive so they can protect your goal. Or, like I mentioned, they're good at controlling team fights, baiting your opponents and controlling your opponents and either pushing them towards you or away from you again. Last but not least, we have supporter, which is basically support in MOBAs. If you've played a MOBA and you've played it for a decent amount, especially ranked, you know what a support is. And supports are kind of not really plentiful. Mr. Mime, Wigglytuff, and Eldegoss. Now, Eldegoss is a really unique supporter because they're able to heal. It's able to heal you. Mr. Mime and Wigglytuff are able to bait your opponents away and kind of like trap your opponent. So they also have the ability to give you shields, etc. So, supports, as far as right now, Eldegoss is pretty much the only kind of healing support, as far as I'm aware. I'm pretty sure they'll add more Pokemon as the seasons go by, etc., as the game gets more popular, because there are hundreds of Pokemon available. And they inflict, as you see here, Pokemon that provide team support by inflicting status conditions on opponents and by healing allies. So, if you look at right here, attackers are ADCs, speedster and all-arounders are junglers, and defenders are tanks, and supporters are your healers, etc. Alright, so here we have ADC, the marksman, or otherwise known as attack, damage, and control. And ADC is responsible for being the long-range character, staying in the outside while they snipe your opponents down with their moves, create crowd control opportunities by helping your teams escape, because you're generally supposed to be on the outside escaping and keeping away from the enemy team. And ADCs are supposed to have some of the highest levels, be as high level as possible so that they can carry the team if necessary and deal heavy amounts of damage so that you can control the team. You can control team fights from the distance. Usually a very overpowered ADC, or very fed ADC, which means an ADC that's been fed a lot of kills, will steamroll your opponent's team and can run rapid across the entire map. Same thing goes from Pokemon Go. A Pikachu that is level 8 versus anyone that's level 4 or 5 is going to get steamrolled by a Pikachu or an A9 that's a much higher level than them. Same concept as in other MOBA games, etc. As you see here, ADC is a marksman character who is focused on dealing heavy damage from range. So typically some of the best marksman characters or best ADC characters, best carries, are those with the highest ranges. In this example, it's Pikachu and Alolan Ninetales. Two of these Pokemon have some of the highest ranges out of all the ADCs or attackers in the game. They focus on one-hit damage. Some of them are able to basically have critical attack strikes. So if you've noticed in Pokemon Unite, when you do team engagements or when you fight other Pokemon, you are able to do critical hits. So critical hits exist, and I'm pretty sure there are items out there that allow you to increase your hands for critical hits or abilities. Now, some ADs are suited for aggressive gameplay, so there are ADCs out there or some carries that are able to just aggressively steamroll your opponent. A good example is A9, because A9 has a lot of abilities that stun your opponent, freeze them in place, and just essentially just mow them down by walling them off, etc. While A9 is also a good example for abilities for escaping and breaking engagements. Alolan Ninetales Ultimate is able to do a AoE effect. So as an area of effect, that's what AoE means, and it's able to freeze your opponents to death. And it's around the little circle, so it does heavy damage. And it also has a walling ability to allow you to escape and freeze your opponent down. Same thing with Pikachu. Pikachu does have abilities which stun your opponents, or CC, which means crowd control, so that you can escape and break engagement with team fights. An expert ADC is able to control their range effectively well, use their abilities at the right time, and effectively stay out of range for your opponent. And like I mentioned before, if they are fed and if they get way ahead of your enemy team, then they can consistently just aggressively beat down your opponents from safe ranges and cause a living nightmare for the rest of the match. Here's a good example of an attack damage control. As you see here, Pikachu is a great ADC in this game. Great range character, has one of the biggest range circles and hit circles, as you see here. I'm able to just join the team engagement just in time to be able to take out my opponent. As you see here, you're also able to use the bushes to your advantage. As an ADC, you have a really large range, and as you see here, you could safely stay out of range of the mob's attacks while you are able to take them out and get those experience points. Here's a great engagement as an ADC. I use my abilities to kite away from my opponent. I won't be able to save this Froakie, but I can save my teammate Cameron if I use my crowd control stun skills correctly, as you see there, and I kite away properly. I was able to use my range to my maximum advantage, and even though I wasn't able to save one of my teammates because they jumped into that team fight, I was still able to successfully save Cameron. At the same time, while still staying at full HP because of my range capabilities. As you see here, attack, damage, control. Do a lot of damage, control the team fights, and hopefully come out with a W, as you see there. Alright, next up we got tanks. So tanks are called defenders in the game. That makes it a little complicated, but defenders are tanks, to be more specific. In Moba terms, a tank is a character with high defense. They often initiate team fights, so they're the ones that run into team fights, and they do the frog splash into the engagement, and they try to take as much damage as possible. What peeling means as far as a peeling roll, they try to peel your opponent, so they're trying to peel away at their defense, chip away at their HP, so that your attack damage carry or another teammate is able to take the kill, or they can kill them themselves because they peeled enough damage from your opponent. And they make up the front line during team fights. The proper way to play a tank is you put yourself in the correct positioning in front of your team. If you are the tank, you are not supposed to run away unless you are almost dead. Or 9 times out of 10, you're probably supposed to be the one giving your life for your team. In a team fight, the proper positioning for a tank is to stay in front. You're supposed to make sure that the opponent's attacks are on you at all times. Soak up as much damage as humanly possible and ensure that your teammates live. Some tanks have abilities that are able to push away your opponent from you and or also to draw them towards you. An effective tank will be able to take the most damage in the game while being able to stay alive and ensuring that their teammates stay alive. That's the most important part. As much as you can, your job is to make sure you initiate the engagement, you stay in front of your team, and you take the most damage, hence why your name is a tank. Defender is kind of misleading in my opinion. No, you are not supposed to sit on your goal and just wait till everyone dies if they initiate a team fight. You should be in front of your teammates at all times unless they are making a bad engagement. And here I demonstrate the role of a tank. As you see, as a tank, I am taking all this damage from this Alolan Ninetales. I epically fail using my move, but that doesn't really matter because I'm playing my role perfectly. I am luring this Alolan Ninetales towards my team. As you see, my team is back there, and I'm taking all the damage. You will see a double kill successfully because I'm able to lure all the damage away from my teammates, and they're able to live this engagement. Because I lured my opponent away, took the most damage, we take out the A9, and as you see here, I keep all the damage on me while we take out the Slowbro. Alright, next up, we got jungle. So a jungle is exactly how it sounds. A jungle usually roams in the middle of the map. As you see in Pokemon Unite, you will see the jungle in the middle area. Usually, that'll be the area where the jungle will roam. In typical MOBAs, a jungle's job is to basically make sure they control the match. As you see here, jungle slash jungler is the role that can successfully clear jungle camps, control the jungle, and threaten the enemy with a gank. Or, more commonly, basically, it's an ambush. So, what a jungle does is that they go into the jungle, they take out the camps there, the mobs in there to level up fast, and they control the jungle. If you have a really good jungle, you won't have to ever worry about an opponent ambushing you because you know your jungle is in there, either controlling the lane or controlling what the next Pokemon or next teammate they're going to support by ganking. A gank is an ambush, so gank means that you're basically jumping your opponent from the bushes. Effective jungles will be able to support their teammates effectively and pick the right ganks. Jungle is a very important role usually, and from what I've seen from all my experience playing pro MOBA games or competitive, is that good jungles will be able to help you come back from matches because they're able to support the direct roles. They're able to keep your opponent or your team far ahead from your opponent, and they create a threatening presence in the jungle. If you create a threatening presence in the jungle, you will allow you to have much better positioning and allow you to pick your spots. Unfed jungle is also very, very powerful, which means the jungle is far more leveled up than your opponent because they'll be able to effectively just steamroll every team fight that you go into. So again, jungle is a very, very important role. As you see, here's a good demonstration of the role of a jungle. As you see here, in the beginning of the game, I'm in the jungle taking out the Pokemon in there or mobs so that I can level up. Now I'm going to go and gank, which is basically an ambush on engagement at the bottom lane. As you see here, I'm with my teammates. I know my opponents are in the bushes, as you see here, and as you see, our opponent tries to actually gank us. But because I spent time in the jungle and I'm so far ahead of my opponents, I'm able to get the double kill off. So my opponents tried to be jungles, but they epically failed. And because I'm a good jungler, I got the W for my team. And the last role we have here is the support. So supports are just as important as the other roles. Supports are very effective, or you have to be an effective support if you choose to do so, because supports have healing abilities. Supports also have crowd control skills or CC, and they're very vital in team fights. Your support's job is to make sure your team is alive during engagements. Their job sometimes is also to heal you and or lure or push away your opponent. As you see based on description, supports operate in the background, assisting the other roles. They don't have a high level of kills, yet they fulfill a critical role. Yes, as a support, do not complain if you're not killing anything. You're not supposed to kill anything. You're supposed to give the kills to your teammates, or more importantly, keep your teammates from dying. However, like I said, like it says here, they play a critical function. They facilitate the allies' games, particularly the ADC. So typically the ADC and the support will be together in one lane, or the support will be making sure that the ADC stays alive. Or another play is that support is actually trying to heal your tank so your tank can take more damage. But again, primarily the support's role is to support the ADC and team fights. It's more of a boring role. Not a lot of people like playing supports. In fact, they're probably the most disrespected role of all time. Well, comparably to the tank, they're probably the most underappreciated role because 9 times out of 10, your teammates will rage at you if you're playing with randoms, and just because support's really underappreciated. Supports are vital roles, though. Good supports will be able to keep their teammates alive, and they'll be able to use their skills correctly to either stun your opponents using CC, crowd control, or heal you at the right time. The existence of performing support results in a competitive advantage. So a performing support means a good support, and good supports will allow you to stay alive during team fights and facilitate great engagements. As you see here, the only support so far in Pokemon Unite really is Eldegoss. Pretty much only one support. Wigglytuff is in that category as well. However, in my opinion, Wigglytuff is more of a tank. Wigglytuff does give you a shield as a support, and it does lure the opponent away, but Wigglytuff operates more as a tank because it doesn't have a high attack range. Eldegoss is definitely the only support so far as the beta. I'm pretty sure there will be more. However, Eldegoss is able to heal you, and it functions perfectly, and the best definition of support, because again, Eldegoss is able to heal. It's also able to create shields and make sure they do their job of keeping your team alive during engagement. And here's an example of an effective support. As you see, this Eldegoss is on my team. I'm the Garchomp. Our support is really good, so you'll see our support, the Eldegoss, heal me at perfect times and give me shields at perfect times, so we're able to win this team fight. Good supports are able to pick at pivotal times when to heal, when to control the enemy team, as you see here, and when to give shields, and thanks to that, I'm able to get the W on this team fight. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this makes it so it's easier for you to understand the terms of MOBAs, which is an multiplayer online battle arena. You're likely gonna play with really high-skilled players that have played other MOBAs before, again, like League of Legends, Dota 2, or more popularly known to Tencent players, Arena of Valor / Honor of Kings. I used to be a pro player / a coach. I actually made top 5 in the world as a Conqueror in AOV, and then I kind of dropped out of the ball just because Pokemon Go released, and I decided to dedicate more to Pokemon Go. Now I'm going back to the MOBA genre in a Pokemon Unite. But, like I said, it's good to know these 4 roles: ADC, Attack, Damage Control, or Marksman, Support, Tank, and Jungle. These 4 roles are pivotal because I'm pretty sure in competitive gameplay, as you go rise up in ranks, these roles will be a lot more apparent. You'll stop seeing these 2-on-3 random engagements, and then you'll see a lot more systemized and organized placements and engages throughout the 10-minute match in Pokemon Unite. These roles are also much easier to remember, and if you have teammates that play these roles correctly, you'll do very, very well in this game, and hopefully rise up the ranks as you climb in the rank system to a Pokemon Master in Pokemon Unite. If you like this video, this is my first Pokemon Unite video. I want to make sure I put out these like instructional videos or like these informational videos, just because I really do think it's vital to know like advanced MOBA terms, or like how to play roles correctly. Things like positioning, things like timing or placement, or just where you are even in team fights or when to engage, can be vital in making sure that you rise in MOBAs. Thankfully, Pokemon Unite isn't as complicated as other MOBA games, just because item builds aren't super complex, and it doesn't seem like a match can't go 50 minutes long. Yes, other MOBA games can go from literally over an hour long, and you can still lose. Pokemon Unite's 10 minutes, but it's still vital that you know your role and you play it well. Again, if you would like to, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'm really diving into Pokemon Unite content. Again, I am an experienced MOBA player, a coach, as well as a former pro coach more than a player, because I've done more as a coach. As you see here, I have a vast amount of knowledge, and I'm looking to rise the ranks more as a player than a coach. So, if you want to do well as a player, or even become a coach one day as a MOBA, in MOBAs, you need to know roles, and these roles will help you become the best Pokemon Master you could possibly be in Pokemon Unite. If you would like to, again, please like, subscribe. You can easily do it by putting your mouse over the box down to the right. If you put your mouse over it, subscribe will easily pop up. Totally free and helps the channel a lot. Did I mention it's totally free and helps the channel out a lot? Other than that, good luck when Pokemon Unite releases. Good luck on your matches. I wish you all the W's in the world, and I will see you on the next video.